What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco. We have a 24 500 Exc-F, and this thing is a Mac Daddy of a Dualsport. This is basically as far as you can take a 500 towards Dualsport use in terms of like light adventure. This is 100% a BDR Slayer tat bike. This thing is really quite special, and the rider in the Midwest no doubt has pretty ambitious plans, I'm sure, for taking this bike out and doing some long distance travel. Let's start at the back, looking at the rear end. This is the tidy tail. That's the all-in-one brake, turn, and run light with the license plate. That's the Enduro plate flex unit. He's got the Fastway Pro Mobility end cap with the ultra silent insert. Fabulous power delivery, great characteristics, very smooth down low. Modest on the sound. That's a really smart choice for the setup. On the back, he's got a Motaz Tractionator. This is the big boy. It's a 130 size. That's as big as you're going to get. He's got tubes in there with some tire sealant, and then these wheels have been balanced. This is the Cush drive hub, and that is going to protect the drive line and make throttle transition on and off a little smoother. And STR on the rear guard, and then a chair piece here on the frame, or I'm sorry, on the swing arm guards. And up here we've got Pro Mobility on the foot pegs with the Achilles saver here. It's a really nice feature. Bulletproof on the brake lever, and the same thing over on the shift as well. You'll see that. Chair piece on these side covers. These offer a little bit of scratch protection, especially with your boots, grinding here against the clutch cover, and a little bit of crash protection as well. P3, that's a major upgrade, and real nice on the heat shield. This is to keep your pants from getting melted. Now take a look at the Steg Pegz. These are controversial, and you've got riders who love and hate them. However, I think they are a nice benefit for somebody who is going to do a lot of long distance riding, you know, particularly somebody who might be a vet rider and has got a little bit of leg fatigue issues, long days on the saddle, so where standing is important. And you can stack out the number of pucks you put on here. One is how they come, but I've seen up to 3. And what that does is, as your leg is running by this, your boot can kind of just grab a hold of that, and it will prevent the back of your body your from sliding back and like moving back under load, under power. So that's a nice thing to consider. It does impede, you know, one of the only downsides really is it impedes the ability to take off the air filter cover, but that's not the end of the world, because you can remove the top bolt here, and then this thing will just swing out of the way. So yes, it increases a little bit of the fussiness of it, but you also have to consider the fact that these vet riders who are doing these long distance tours, they are not riding in desert, dry conditions generally, and they're not pack riding. They're not on they're not racing, right, the guy in front of them and picking up and breathing in a lot of the dust from a rider directly in front. They're typically alone or in a small group, and that group is generally spread out. So it's a different set of conditions when you're on a bike that's set up like this. So just something to point out, but nothing really to worry about. And in terms of the air filter itself, we have the PC Racing base gasket, and then a filter skin, and then very likely that's got the twin air filter cage, and then the twin air filter upgraded filter unit itself. So that's a very competent air filtration package he's got going on there. And then looking at this side, he's got Dirt Tricks dome washer, and there's that bulletproof lever that we talked about. Another set of the Acerbis guards, and then he's got the Tacomoto power distribution system in here, and here's the SAE cord for the trickle charger, battery ground, or I'm sorry, engine ground, and then the Tacomoto oil filter over here. And then this is the stock tank. We are going to be setting him up with a larger aftermarket tank and then putting the snorkel in there. So if you're looking at this thinking, well, how is he going to do these long distance rides on that little stock tank? That's not the final tank that this bike is going to be used with. On the kickstand, let's take a look at this. This is a little accessory foot. When you have bags and different things, it's already hard enough to get your foot to be able to grab the kickstand anyway. And then you do this where you add some bags and your straps and things. And so having this foot on there is a real big benefit to be able to pull the stand down. Bulletproof on this little guard right here for the rear chain slider. And then bulletproof here on the axle adjuster. That's a cool little thing. We talked about the cush hub. Here you can see the thickness of how it adds some body to the back of that to make those rubber damping and then the splines in there all work. And then that's a Dirt Tricks Ironman sprocket in chrome finish, chromatic finish, and I think that's the stock gear ratio on this bike. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Let's see if there's anything interesting on this side as well. We've got the Samco hoses. Maybe we'll just take a jump over to this side. Now the Samco hoses over here, the thermostat is retained. The thermostat of this new generation bike is in the T-piece that's in the frame. You can't see that. And then we have this heat shield here that covers over the hoses. It goes over the top of the manifold. Molecule on the skid plate, that's got a nice protection. And then lightweight. We'll do the cockpit last. Up here on the front wheel, we've got some pretty cool stuff going on. So the TM Design Works on the lower lug guards. This is probably an Enduro Engineering. They make this. This is a wheel puller. So if you have to pull your axle out, it just makes it a little easier. You just grab a hold of this and slide the axle out. And then down in here, this is Tacobout. These are bearing spacer caps, and these have a little hood that covers over the bearings. So you can blast that with pressure washer water. You can hit that without worrying about doing any damage to your bearing. So that's a cool thing we put on our builds. And then the Warp 9 wheel set up here, this is the Elite series, and then there's a Warp 9 titanium rim lock as well. And with the Warp 9 wheel set, you can specify what color spokes, what color nipples, the color of the rim. It's really cool to customize on the hub, of course. Customize out your wheel set for a particular look if that's what you're going for. And this rider clearly had a look he was going for. This is a very exciting graphics package, and we design these and then print them and apply them in-house, and you can get a hold of us and we'll do a graphics package for you. We can even ship it with the graphics already applied, so you just install them on your bike. They're ready to go. Dingo on the fork guards, the upper fork guards here. These are really super strong and stout. You're just not going to damage your upper tubes in a crash if you have those on their rocks. Just super durable. STR carbon fiber on this rotor guard, and I think we talked about the TM Design Works. These are super light and then offer unbelievable protection for the lower legs on your forks. So let's talk about what's going on up here. This is pretty interesting. We have the Tacomoto tower. This unit right here has a breakaway screen. You've seen this on some of our builds, but he's got a shorty screen. Now you can get these in a tall and a short. This is the short one, kind of stubby, and some riders will get both so that you can switch in between the two. This would be if you're going to do some more aggressive riding, maybe some single track, or you just don't feel like you need the full protection of a taller screen. This is a great solution. And then these are the dual dynamics lights. He's got up here the Voyager Pro, and then this is the Peak Designs mount, and this has a charge base on there, and you can see the power cord coming down, and that goes in and integrates into our tower here where the power taps are. So as far as what's pulling power, this is Peak Designs here, and then the Trail Tech. Right here we have a USB charge port, and then there is a button here for your heated grips. So there's quite a few things that are being powered on this bike. This machine puts out 196 watts of peak power at about 4,000 RPM. The bike itself will use 55 to 60 watts, so the remainder is used for lighting and accessories. Now, we have tested the power output on these extensively, and with this exact bike, under some load testing, we, observing power, we always maintained about a 13.9, 14 volt average. So there's plenty of capacity in this charging system to run these accessories and to take care of this load. So it's remarkable how well this bike does for this type of setup. There are bigger bikes you can go with that will give you, greater comfort on the highway. This is a thumper, right? And so single cylinder bikes are going to be a little buzzier than a dual cylinder bike. Talking about the buzziness, you've got the XC gear, Mako 360 with some soft type bushings, and that really does a good job of damping out bar vibrations. So just to finish out this whole package up top, Scott's, as far as the stabilizer go, that's essential kit. We put these on all of our personal bikes. STR on the fork bleeders, and then highway dirt bikes on the bar guards here, on the hand guards with the integrated mirrors. So this is just a very tidy situation here. All of it's integrated incredibly well. This whole bike has just been really well thought through, and his concept of how he wanted to lay this out is really bang on. Moscow bags here, these are the 40s. I think these are the 40s. Yeah, they don't look like the 80s. Yeah, 40s are 40s, and those are rackless. And there is a little cleat here with a bolt through that goes underneath on the bottom. There's this little tab right there, and then you can see the nut and bolt there on the bottom. And this rear fender on the new bikes will easily accommodate 30 pounds without any issue at all. We've tested that in Baja on the new bikes. I think my pack, my all-in, was about 30 pounds, and then up here I had some water, so I'm gonna guess I was easily 35 pounds. I don't think I was quite to 40, and ran that for, I don't know, 5 days in Mexico when the new gen bikes came out, and had no issues whatsoever, no cracking. I pulled the subframe out and looked at everything, and it was fine. Now, if you were going to run a little higher weight than that, you might want to look at a rack. And right now I know that True North Motos has just released a rack for the KTM bikes, the new generation bikes, so that might be something you want to take a look at. There's advantages and disadvantages to a rack and to not having a rack. There's really no best right answer, but you can figure out which is the way to go for you. So that's probably a wrap on this bike. In terms of its power, its capabilities, its performance, this is the ultimate in terms of a light adventure dual sport bike. It's not for everybody, but for those who this appeals to, this is just about as good as you're going to get on a setup. And we're happy to talk to you to help you figure out if setting up a bike like this is the way to go for you. And we've got configurations that are as wild as this, or even more mild in terms of more sport oriented, single track, aggressive riding. No matter what your riding style, Baja 1000, we've got bikes we've built and set up for the Baja 1000. So whatever you're trying to do on one of the Austrian platform bikes, we've got you covered, and we can help you figure out a way to make it very personal and super ultimate. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, go out, get some adventure.